Hey everybody, welcome to today's adventure with our Grenadier. We are comparing the GP Factor fender plates and the OEM checker plates that you can buy. You start out, you look at, obviously these get riveted with 8 holes, and these are held on with 3M tape. This VHB 5952, I believe. To start out, if you look at these, they're really the same size, and you overlay them, which was pretty neat to see. And then as you lay them over, you can kind of look at the thickness and see the GP one's slightly thicker. And on the back of the Ineos ones, you have kind of a cushioned foam. Some of the early directions said that it's tape, but it is not tape, it's just foam. So you've got a textured finish with the Ineos ones, and you've got more of a, this still has a texture to it, but it's just a powder coated texture. Kind of like the idea of these. Again, it's not a permanent installation unless you want it to be. It will hold on, but with the tape. But once you drill holes in your truck, that's it, you're committed. And I've had a hard time since buying my Grenadier in March to commit to drilling holes. So that's where we are today. But I'm going to run you through what it would take to install this if you wanted. So inside of the Grenadier information, they'll give you some dimensions on the instructions that say, okay, 13.5 millimeters from here, 10 millimeters from that edge, which is somewhat subjective because it's coming through there, and then again 15 down here. So where that gives us, you can see I've already laid this out. These dots are representing where you're going to have to drill your 5 millimeter drill hole to clear the rivets. So we'll set this down and get it in place. And so you can see as you get it in place that the holes line up with the existing markers. So that's essentially how this would go on. You would then drill your holes, take the tape off, remove that, and then pop rivet on. Pretty straightforward. The critical thing with this is really checking this gap and making sure that stays the same. So what I had done was took a piece of pine, ran it down, and it's 3/8, and this sits in here, kind of gives you a guide along that edge to make sure that your edge is right. And kind of the same thing. So with taking that kind of concept, coming over here, I'm mainly worried about this dimension here. But what's interesting is, as you can see, if you put a little pressure on the front light, like here, that bezel, you're supposed to measure off that trailing edge, but that trailing edge can easily move 0.5 millimeter. So you can either take it from resting state or push it all the way forward. Depends on what you want. And then kind of laying this out, what I've done is just kind of figured out where the edges should be and lay it out that way. And then again, come back with this block and set it in place. And that's really what I used to set the position, because my hood gap's really what'll drive me crazy. So I know this will line up. So really I'm focused on setting the distance from back here, and then I can measure with my finger, is this about 10 millimeters from here, and the back will just fall in where it is. On the other side it's about 15 millimeters. So it's about the same here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install these today on the right and left. And to do that, what I'm going to start with is I've got this taped and this mocked up. I'm going to pull this off. And then I've got, let's see, some isopropyl alcohol, and reading the directions from 3M, They say cut it 70% alcohol, 30% water. Clean all around the area where the adhesive is going to be under here. We'll just clean the whole thing underneath the plate. And then we'll show you what it looks like at the end. But that essentially is, you know, how you lay out either of them. And I think what's critical on these is the more you spend time up front, getting your tools ready, getting the proper stuff, you're gonna be happy with the outcome. You wouldn't want to rush a job like this, because especially with the rivets, you're kind of gonna be a permanent installation. And I talked with the guys at GP, and they said, look, you can get these off if you really had to or wanted to later. And it would be the kind of application where you'd run some kind of like fishing line or some wire under here. Nothing that would affect the paint. But, you know, this VHB tape is meant to be a permanent installation. So it provides a lot of tackiness. And doing some research on it, it's been around since like 1980. So I think they have that down pretty well. So where are you on this if you didn't do it yourself? I don't know what someone would charge you to do this. It's really just layout time, and then the installation's fairly easy. I'll show you how to flag those in a second. Flagging just means pulling an edge over. You don't completely take all the tape off. So we're gonna kind of walk through that in a second here, but this is pretty easy. This one, some people on the forum said that the dealer charged them $300 to install these. So you've got the base price of these at about $330 is what I paid for them, I think, plus tax. And then you'd have your install. So you could probably have 600 into this pretty quick if you had somebody else do it. And then on this one, these are $220, I think. And they make another version with an inlay in there. And those, I think, are $300. But out of $220, and then I can't imagine somebody charging more than $100 to put these on. So there's a little price difference there, and there's a difference in, you know, personal view. I like this textured, but then again, I've, as you can see, put satin wrap on my hood. I probably won't ever climb on this thing, to be honest. I don't really see that, but this checkered pattern is pretty neat and very, very close to an old Fender. So that's what we've got, and I'll walk you through putting this on here in a minute. Okay, so we've put our guide in here, and then you see I flagged all these and just put some tape on them. Then I'm going to pull them slowly, one at a time. I think what I'm going to try first is I really want to secure this line where the guide is, and then probably come over here to the second one, and then while I can still have some ability, lift this up and follow down to the third, and that should be it. So based that I only have two hands, I'm going to just do that manually without the video, and then we'll see it finished. All right, so those went pretty easy. Like I said, I'm going to start with this last one here. Fairly easy, a lot easier than I thought it would be. Oops. Moving it slightly. Okay, so now we're going to come back up, check our gaps. Nice logo. So that looks good. Now, one of the things is you got to let this we're going to put some weight on it. Recommend 15 pounds of pressure around the outside with a roller. I don't have one of those, so I'm just going to put some weight on it. And then also with the tape, they recommend like putting some weights on it. So I'll probably use some paint cans, just set it there, and then recommend not driving it for 24 hours or exposing it to rain or the elements. So we will get this thing weighted down and then do the other side. All right, so this one's looking good. Came out well. Like all the gaps, they look good. The tape off, and again, that 70-30 mix of isopropyl alcohol, clean all your bonding areas. We got our 3/8 pine guide sitting in here. We're going to work off the pine guide and then here. And again, when we go to strip this out and put it on, we're going to go first along the hood line, pull that one, second, pull across here, and then finally the edge of the fender. So again, we're going to start pulling from here to here, get that set, come back across here, and then finally, when we get to set it down, make sure we got a good look, and then start from here and go back. And then we'll be done. It's pretty easy. All right, so this is having it set down and kind of mocked up, if you will. We're really focusing on not pushing this too far in, but bring all these lines, get the layout to match. Be happy with where we're at before we pull anything. And then again, 1, 2, and then 3 back. So mainly I'm going to try to keep it up a little bit, so that's why I need my other hand. So I keep this one up a little while I kind of keep the guard up, the guard where it's at, and then pull this straight back. Here's a helpful hint. If you end up, don't push down on any of these until you've done all of them, got them loose, because otherwise you got to be super careful. But you might need to just lift this up so you can pull your tabs, otherwise they can get real long. But you'll see it should pull fairly easily, but you don't want to snap this thing. So I'm gonna slide this under and lead it, and not, so you just pry it up just a little bit, and that'll make sure you don't snap it, because once you snap it, it's going to be difficult to get that out. So just as I come along here, I'm going to gently lift up the panel. All right, so that pretty much concludes this little video for these installs. I really do like these. They come out good. We here at Design Build Go can install either kind. As I showed you today, they're pretty straightforward. I just prefer these GP Factor ones for not having to do any drilling immediately. But yeah, we do sell these and service these here in Statesville, North Carolina. So any questions, drop them in the comments. Let me know what you think. We'll be doing some more additions to our Grenadier here shortly. Thanks.